Pleistocene 1.5 million years ago was a very different place. The continent teemed with enormous marsupials known as megafauna, which were anything. Imagine a monster kangaroo that towered over 2 meters in height and weighed more than 225 kilograms. The biggest kangaroo that ever lived. Meet procoptodon. Megalania has earned Australia an unusual
and would use that to kill its prey.
What was it about Megalania that made
to bite down on its prey and clamp it? And what this meant.
But the competition was also deadly. What gave Megalania the year was the apex predator of Australia, hunting and killing animals much larger and faster than itself. We know about its weapons, but how did this hyper-carnivore use them? And what was its hunting strategy? And the animals it preyed upon were always listening for danger.
If you're a prey animal,
if hearing is the key to survival for prey animals, how can a way to hunt, much less demanding than running down your food?
Calories in or calories out. It all depends on
holes and feeding areas where prey animals were likely to pass. Then it would simply wait. But even with all these sensory advantages, for a cold-blooded... How about a 2-meter-tall, 225-kilogram kangaroo? And when these two creatures get into a fight, anything can happen. So what was on the menu? On this isolated continent, mammals, and many of them were supersized, much larger than the pouched animals we know today. The biggest of the... And just like today, Australia was teeming with kangaroos. The only difference is the giant short-faced kangaroos weighed 225 kilograms and stood over 2 meters tall. They were able to grab foliage 3 meters off the ground, beyond the reach of other animals. This king-size skippy was a prime prey object, but it wasn't an easy target.
Giant kangaroo isn't just meat on 4 legs. Would have been a formidable foe.
These giant kangaroos were the mixed martial arts fighters of the outback. Like their modern counterparts, these extinct huge lizard would rush forward, but the attack would bring it into range of the kangaroo's powerful back legs.
These giant kangaroos, they're not just going to, like modern kangaroos, the animal will probably prop back on its tail, lashed out with those hind legs.
Megalania is far too sturdy to be killed by a kick. But the giant kangaroo only needs to stun the lizard to give itself time to escape. However, the monster-roo is slow to accelerate, making it extremely vulnerable until it gets up to speed.
Well, my money would definitely be on it.
And although Megalania was big and bulky, it may not quickly and keep going. All it needed was to get close enough to grab the tail of its prey.
Its tail is integral to a lot of trouble.
It would try and hop away, bleed to death.
Even with all its strength, the giant kangaroo is no match for Megalania. But Megalania didn't have this bounty all to itself. There were other predators on the continent. Prey by surprise. A tactic which has given it the nickname Drop Cat.
The marsupial lion was absolutely built.
And the beast had a phenomenally strong bite.
Pound for pound, it had the most...
These predators would have generally avoided each other, but they hunted the same prey, and their world was changing.
the Pleistocene itself was a tough time.
But less than 70,000 years ago, it was a land of monsters. The top predator was the giant lizard called Megalania, a 6-meter-long mega monster known